What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing to you my December 2020 Banlist predictions. I'm not exactly a too update on the current meta. I know I have a general idea like Dragon Links, Infernoble Knights, Zodiacs, and yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on what I think is going to get hit or come off the list, or a few things I think can come off, but I'm not quite too sure if they will or won't, but I think they can. Let's start off with the banned cards. First off, Link Cross. I think Link Cross is just gonna fall for Needle Fiber Sins. That and out of all the cards to fall for Needle Fiber Sins, I think Link Cross is one that actually does need to get banned, because even without Needle Fiber, it is still a very powerful card that does need to be checked. Link Cross allows some of these decks to survive multiple hand traps, considering all it requires is a Link 2, and then you can just generate tokens off of that, go into Needle Fiber. Yeah, the Needle Fiber or Rordon Link Cross play needs to be killed. And I think Link Cross is the most likely way. Like, some people, yeah, they want Needle Fiber to go, but let's face it, Crystal Needle Fiber isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think it's going to be banned in the next ban list, or even the one after that. It's going to be here for a while. I do think with the banning of Link Cross, Elite Needle Fiber will be actually not as bad. It will kind of like curb the power of that card. And Needle Fiber does actually, there are some advantages to Needle Fiber being in the format. In terms of the Konami's perspective, it can help promote sales, especially for synchro decks. So I think the banning of Link Cross is more likely as opposed to Needle Fiber. Next, I have Guard Dragon LP. The Dragon Link deck definitely needs to be hit. It's been around for a while, and I'm not too familiar with the deck on how to hit it. Like, Dragon's just a very powerful archetype, and there's several cards that can be hit, but I think LP is the one that has to go. There's already one Guard Dragon on the list with Agripane. And LP is a really powerful, really powerful dragon support in general. Because when it's, because you can special summon a dragon level 4. No, you just special summon one dragon from your deck. It's not hard to pull off, and even if LP is banned, that's not going to kill Dragon Link. Dragon Link is just so powerful that banning LP is just going to knock the power level of that deck down a little bit. Next, I have Smoke Grenade of the Time Thief. Hand Ripping. I'm surprised this card wasn't banned on the last list, considering how Konami really likes to ban those cards. There's several banned, several limited, and I don't think it's going to dodge the list this time. I think it's going to get banned, and Infernoble Knights is one of the best decks, so this would be the best way to hit it, because this is an indirect hit. And unless they have any plans to like promote Smoke Grenade, which I don't know anything about at the moment, it's just a really degenerate card. It needs to go, and I think that they will ban it as a hit to Infernoble Knights. Lastly, I have Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. In the same ways as Smoke Grenade, this is a really degenerate card that just has to go. Don't know how to survive the last ban list either. And this is also another hit to Dragon Link, but Dragon Buster Destruction Sword is just a degenerate card just by nature. Some people are saying to ban Union Carry, which, no, Union Carrier is not a problematic card. I think Union Carrier is a very decent card. It's just, it has the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword is just a really powerful card. And I just finally found the card to abuse it. So I think it's definitely got to go. As long as Union Carrier is in the game, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword cannot be in the game. So I predict that it will get banned. So those are the 4 cards I think will get banned. LP, Link Cross, Smoke Grenade, and Destruction Sword. Now there are other cards that people have been talking about getting banned, such as Zexal, Mystic Mine, Calamities. I don't think that any of those are going to get banned. As for why I don't think Zexal is going to get banned, just because it's not really relevant right now. It hasn't really seen much play. And so because of that, it's going to avoid the list. Calamities, I think it's going to avoid it mainly due to virtual worlds. And considering how new virtual worlds are and that Phantom Rage is kind of hurting for value, I think it will stay alive just for that. Mystic Mine, let's face it, unless it's a problem, they aren't going to hit it. You can complain all you want, but it's not getting hit. Now, there was another card that I was thinking could get limited or banned just to help promote sales, much in the same way as Called by the Grave, which I think should come back, but I don't think it's going to happen. And that is Incantation Chalice Slime. Now, a lot of you are probably like, why should Chalice Slime get banned? Now, I'm really thinking that in the terms of promoting sales for Genesis Impact. Because in Genesis Impact, we get Drytron, which is a very powerful ritual support. And if we hurt the Incantation engine, then that's just going to make Drytron the main go-to for ritual support, which will help promote the sales of Genesis Impact. But then again, that's just a shot in the dark, and I don't think it needs to be banned or anything, but Konami might ban it just from a business perspective. Now moving on to the limited section. I have 2 cards getting limited and 3 kind of peeling off. The first card I think can be limited is Magical Meltdown. Invoked, it has to be hit. We gotta hit it some way or another. And I think Magical Meltdown is the most obvious hit. I don't think it needs to be banned, but definitely limiting it to kind of like hit the consistency of this deck a little. Because this deck has just been popping up everywhere. It's been with multiple decks. It's been with Dogmatica, Numerons, Shadalls, even back with Mech Knights. And they're just going to eventually there'll be another one that pops up that it's going to be splashed. Invoked is going to be splashing. It definitely needs a hit on consistency, and it's got, and the 3 main cards are Invocation, Alistair, and Magical Meltdown. I think Magical Meltdown is the one that's going to get limited, mainly because it has a super poly-like effect to where the monster that is fusion summoned can't be like destroyed by card effects or something like that. So Magical Meltdown definitely going to get limited. Hopefully. Next, I have Red Eyes Fusion getting limited to 1. This is mainly as a hit to the Dragoon engine, because I don't think a ban to Verte Anaconda is going to happen, because I feel like if I'm thinking about this from a business perspective, I would not hit Verte Anaconda or Dragoon. I would keep it alive for at least 1 or 2 more formats to kind of help promote sales, and maybe reprint it a bit, maybe help promote sales with other stuff. And Verte Anaconda and Dragoon, I've only had 1 printing. But it definitely does seem to get hit, and do you really think they're going to ban Red Eyes, Black Dragon, or Dark Magician? No, that's not happening. Those cards will never be banned. But Red Eyes Fusion, on the other hand, limiting it to 1 is definitely it's definitely a check against that deck, because if you only have 1 and you draw it, the Dragoon play is just dead from the get-go. So that will definitely help with curbing the power of the Dragoon engine. Next are 3 cards I think come back. First is Salamangreat Mirage Stallion. Salamangreat's doing not really anything right now. I think it's like tier 2 rogue. And Mirage Stallion, I was kind of confused why it got banned on the first place, because if they were trying to kill the deck, you could have gone with, like, I don't know, Spinny, Gazelle, Circle, Sunlight Wolf. And I think bringing it back to 1, it'll be fine. Like, you could bring Mirage Stallion back to 3. I might make it a solid tier 2, possibly tier 1 deck. But I think them bringing it back to 1 is more likely to happen. Like, some people are talking about bringing Orcus back, but I'm against that because I don't have fond memories with Orcus. Although I've been wanting to kind of try to test this deck out, but when it was around, that's like all I ever saw, and I just, for a while, I really hated Orcus. Next is another deck from around that time, Thunder Dragon Colossus. I think this will come back to one. A lot of people are saying that this can come back to one. Thunder Dragon Colossus is a very powerful card, yes. But at one copy, it's not really that unfair. There are ways around it, such as Nibiru or Effect Veiler. Or stuff like, was it Triple Tactics Talents? Or there's another card that came out Residuals I can't think of. But there are ways to deal with Thunder Dragon Colossus. And at 3, this is definitely too powerful, but I think at 1 it is just fine. And it also helps with giving support to not just Thunder Dragons, but other Thunder decks like Watts, for example. Or what other Thunder deck is there? Those are the only 2 Thunder decks I can think of. And another card is Performage Plush Fire. Now, some people think Skull Corbat Joker can come back, and I think that can come back too. But I'm putting a Plus Fire here instead of Joker, because it can be swapped out with Joker or Electromite, but I do think they will bring some sort of Pendulum support back. And I just chose Plus Fire. I think it's a perfectly fine card. Performances aren't really doing anything. If it comes back, is that to 1? If Plus Fire comes back to 1, is that going to really do anything? Not really. It might give a little bit of support to Pendulums, but not too much. Then again, I'm no Pendulum expert. That's probably the extra deck type I know the least about. Sometimes I still struggle with how it even functions. Now onto the semi-limits. The first card I have is Infernity Archfiend. I'm surprised this didn't come back to 2 on the last Banlist to kind of help promote sales for Phantom Rage, because it did get in some Infernity support in that, and there's also been a Mirage got reprinted in Maximum Gold, and I think in the upcoming set, I don't know if it's Justice Impact or Blazing Vortex, but I do think there still is some Infernity support coming on the way. So I do think that this will come back to 1 to help promote sales, and even if there isn't any upcoming and I'm just thinking about nothing, I still think it can come back to 2 regardless to kind of help promote the sales of Phantom Rage. Next, I think Duloran can come back to 2, or can go to 2. I think it will come back to 2, mainly to promote the sales for the new Ice Bear support, because if you don't know, in the voting for a structure deck, Ice Barrier won. So we're getting an Ice Barrier structure deck in a couple months, and I think that they will bring it back to kind of help promote the sales for it. Next are 3 cards that I think can come back because I don't think they're really quite as powerful, or for decks that they need help. The first one is Dynamite Knight. True Dracos aren't doing anything. There's plenty of back row removal, and they need all the help they can get. I would say bring Dragonic Diagram back, but as long as Litho Sachem's in the format, I don't think it will. So instead of bringing that back, we can bring back Dynamite Knights, or even the True King's Return. None of them are really all that powerful. Like, if I had access to 3 Dynamite Knight, would I play 3? No. Honestly, if I got another one back, I'd probably still only play 1. Like, Dynamite Knight isn't an unfair card by any means the way. It just activates a trap card from your deck. And the only 2 trap cards that it will get are Return and Apocalypse. They're fair cards. And considering it's not doing anything, I think it can come back. Now, next is a card that a lot of people for a while have been talking about coming back. And that is a Hero Lives. Heroes aren't doing anything. People thought they were going to do something when Master Roll 5 came around. They didn't do anything, still not doing anything. It can come back to 2 and slowly peel its way off. And if it becomes a problem, you can just put it back right back to 1. Now I have the Unlimits. I actually have 7 cards that I think can come off the ban list completely. Most of them are semi-limited. I think Seer and Graph can come back. They came back to 2. Got new supports from Phantom Rage. Still not doing anything. I fear that Burning Abyss would probably be a tier 1, maybe tier 2. But I don't think it's even Rogue, which is surprising. I figured it'd be doing much more. But I guess I overestimated the power of Burning Abyss. Maybe it's not as powerful as people are always talking about. So I definitely think they can bring Seer and Graf back, you know. Help those Burning Abyss players out. Give them something. Next is Totally Awesome and ABC Dragon Buster. Those are obvious ones coming off the list. I think anyone can see those ones coming because that's just how Konami does things. Just bring it to 2, then bring it to 3, and it's nice to see them admitting their mistake on that. Those cards shouldn't have been limited at all, and they're not doing anything at 2, so they can come back to 3 no problem. Next, I have 1 banned card and 2 limited cards that I think you can just go straight to 3. The first one is Time Seal. Time Seal just isn't a good card. It's way too slow for how Yugioh has evolved. I can see maybe back in the older Yugioh how this might have been a very powerful card, but just with how fast Yugioh has evolved into, it's not even worth it. Time Seal has the effect of skip the draw phase of your opponent's next turn. That's not bad. The only problem is it's a trap card. If this was a spell card, then yes, I can definitely see why it would remain banned. But just how it works, you'd have to set it and then skip the draw phase of your opponent's next turn. So, let's say you're going first and you set it. You have to wait until 4 turns. 4 turns before it even works. Yeah, that's way too slow. A flip monster is better. So this can come back to 3. Nothing's going to happen. Another one is Yugioh Mind August. Now, the only reason I'm putting this one here is because they brought the other one back to 3, which was surprising to me. I'd rather just pick these two to limit in the rot in the limited section for the rest of their existence, but guess not. And I also think Mind August is the weaker of the 2. They're definitely powerful cards, but I also think they can also be brought back to help promote sales of Genesis Impact. And Yugi's not doing anything, even with the... I forgot what the name of the other ritual that came back was, but it's still not doing anything, so I think this card can come back. And last is a card that I want to come back. I've been wanting it to come back for a long time. I was upset when it got limited. And that was Trickstar Light Stage. Trickstars aren't doing anything. Orcus isn't doing anything. It can come back. It's not hurting anything. And if it comes back to 3, is it going to make Orcus a tier 1 deck? No. Rustar Radish was brought back. And Orcus still isn't a tier 1 deck. With Mermaid banned, I don't think it's going to be seeing much play in Orcus. It might, but even then again, I don't see why it was banned in the first place, because it was never a degenerate card to begin with. There are other things that can be hit over Light Stage, and I think it can come back to 3. I've been saying that for a while, so I have it going back to 3. And that's it for my ban list predictions. Let me know, what do you think? Did you agree with some of them? Did you disagree with some of them? Do you think Mystic Mind is going to get banned? Do you think Morphing Jar can come back to 2? Although I hope it does. I want to see my crawlers do something. And without further ado, I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.